All right, thanks, folks. Welcome to another episode of the Star Citizen Report. So, just putting up some of our information here. We broadcast every other Saturday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time here on Grievance's, twitch.tv/grievance. Again, welcome, folks. We have a lot of news to cover, and some of it is definitely sad on our part here. All right. Welcome to the show. I'm going to do some introductions here. My name is Doug.
My name is Nick.
I'm Kevin.
And as y'all noticed, we've left a screen open for a dear friend of ours and co-host of the show, Arleeya. And
Alan.
Yep. I want to bring that up because, we've been good friends for over a year discussing Star Citizen. But it sometimes happens with gamer buddies. I didn't even learn his real first name until after we got the news recently that he passed away. So, and we are going to talk about him for a moment. Basically, folks, some of our big stories tonight, we're going to talk about Arleeya, our good friend. We're also going to talk about some other news in the Star Citizen world, a little bit of news about some Vanduul ships. And we're going to talk about the most recent design post that came out just yesterday, the new passenger Genesis Starliner, and the kind of passenger ship gameplay they've come out with. I wanted to do a few quick bits of news here before we get into it and talking about Arleeya. Some assorted news through Star Citizen. CitizenCon to take place October 10th in Manchester, England. Hey, Given, thanks for the follow. Always glad to see the followers. Star Citizens, this is the third annual event to celebrate its birthday. Lots of digital and physical swag for those attending. The entire Foundry 42 staff will be there. Tickets are already sold out for that one. For this past week, every flyable ship has been offered out to us, except I noticed the Vandal Side. They said every flyable ship, but I'm like, I haven't seen that one yet. Although I guess maybe we're still waiting on that patch. It is to give us a thank you, but also get some valuable feedback. Also, another thing which will help me out here is I didn't totally get with you before this. We are definitely doing some upcoming ship giveaways in the future. Watching this show, you got to be here to win. The first one I'm planning on is July 25th, and one of the ships we're offering out a Reliant package. And what was the other one?
I get an Aurora, the starter package.
Okay, so a Reliant and an Aurora starter package. So, like I say, the first show that we're gonna do a contest, have that out, is gonna be on July 25th. So you want to catch that show. I see everyone kind of joining the channel here, saying their hellos. Thank you everybody for joining us. All right. Let's talk about Arleeya here. Any one of you want to give it a start?
I don't see anybody jumping up, so I guess I'll go. I kind of had my ups and downs with Arleeya. He could drive me nuts at times, but I truly miss him. The debate we had going over him and his ships, and as you all know, and if anybody's watched this show, I wanted a Vanduul Side, and that was the only ship he didn't buy. So every time we talked about his ships, I had to bring up the Vanduul. It was a long-running joke between the two of us. When his health took a turn for the worse, I was one of the people that discussed that in length with him, and he was very positive and upbeat about it. And from that point on, I pretty much made it a point that, I kept track of him every week. I would make sure I'd heard from him at least once, or that he'd been on TeamSpeak. And, I had a really bad feeling when he kind of fell out there. And, it ended up turning out for the worse. Grievance will be less of a place because he's not in it. So will the verse. And, you know, if I have one thought that I want to leave myself with Arleeya, it'd be the get-together that the one before you came to, Thaman, I guess in 2013, the get-together. I was, after our get-together, we do a big breakfast the next morning before everybody heads out. And I was sitting right next to Arleeya at breakfast. Everybody's breakfast comes. And when his comes, he has a giant slice of pie. And I'm like, pie for breakfast? And he looks me right in the eyes and goes, yeah, why not? And that was kind of, you know, his take on life. Yeah, why not? That's a memory I'll always have him, other than the, you know, the hours and hours in TeamSpeak we spent talking about everything you can possibly imagine. And I know that he would be immensely, I don't know, pleased is the right word, but, you know, at you know, the impact he's had on everyone in Grievance and even people outside Grievance that he reached through the show. So he will be missed. Whoop.
I remember Leah's stories more than anything. I found out how he learned how to multiply and divide in calculus at his father's store. And that story took about an hour and a half for him to tell me, because obviously I was having problems with calculus at the time. So yeah. I remember the pie story. That was cute. I remember him renting a Mustang down to that same get-together. Yeah. And he like sat outside. We're like, why don't you come in? And he's like, it doesn't start for another half hour. I'm like, dude, we're already setting up. Just come in. Don't be weird. Just come in. And he was fine. He brought that that rice wine. Yeah. Well, he rented it, so he brought that rice wine that like only half the people drank, or only like half a bottle was drank. We had like 2 or 3 of them left over, and they were like straight from Japan or something like that. And he's like, "Oh, you drink this?" And he said it was great. And I'm like, "Okay," because obviously I'm a big drinker.
Rothatch, thank you for the follower. New application to Grievance who saw a post which I will discuss shortly. Go ahead, Whoops.
Speaking of the application, I went over it bit by bit with Arleeya. It's only 8 pages now. 8 pages.
Only. It didn't start at 8 pages,
when we started.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It was 32. It's like doing your taxes. Your freaking taxes. 32.
If anybody could take a simple thing and make it super complicated, but brilliant, it was him.
But this isn't the only game that we like did this with him. We were in Arcade together.
Oh.
And he was what was his title?
Logistics officer.
There you go. Well, he fit it. Somebody would put down whatever they put in, like rocks or stone or logs, whatever it was, and he had it down to the T. Last everything. You donated this much, and so got exactly this much, and this is how the whole works. That was him. That was him to a T.
Arleeya's also really knows him being a very generous person. I hear my first real life get together was last year's, and he didn't make that one. And I was supposed to meet him at this year's get together, but you know, come to find out when I arrived there that he passed away just 2 weeks before the get together. We lost 2 people, I found out. The other one being Dixie. I didn't realize that, you know, here I ran into Doxy. He came to this lunch we had together, and here I didn't realize about Dixie till later on. So we've lost, you know, a couple people this year. Arleeya, man, I was looking for him too. We've got a tribute video at the end of the program that we will show last. It's out there on YouTube. Don't watch it now, watch the show. But it's out there on YouTube for you to watch later, and I know a number of you have already discovered it. Took some clips from the show, and some memorials, some testimonials from some of the members here. Thanks all for also, you know, if you had questions or anything to throw out in the channel. I know Smartix threw me off. He said, "Hey, Whoop and Arleeya are in the wrong spots. It's harshing my aura." I assume maybe that meant they're usually in the other spots. I had to look to make sure I had the right names under the right pictures again. So thanks for making me check that out, Smart. I've got a video to show up here, but you know, Arleeya was such a generous person to us, and he owned almost every variant of every ship, including Idris, a jump. He was such a big supporter of Star Citizen. when I notified them about his passing, they were like, "Oh yeah, we know him." You know, they talked to him a lot. He's also a big supporter of Apotheosis. He's been a investor behind Grievance, planning our upcoming convention in 2017. He stepped forward for that. He always wanted to share the ships. I mean, he said Idris, everything in his fleet was for Grievance's use. I know that with his health this past year and worried about it, I think he tried to set forth a legal means by which if something did happen, Grievance would get the fleet.
We don't know what happened with that, though.
Right. I wouldn't be in the position to know right now. But I know that that's what he attempted to do. You too? Okay. The YouTube crew won't see this. Smarticus says, "Oh yes, Whoopa's mostly is always in on the left," and there Whoopnio's typing back, "It's just a step to the left."
And a jump to the right.
You gotta be here on the live show, folks. So another thing about Arleeya here, I tell you, we talked a lot after the show. In fact, I almost get in trouble because usually after the show, I'm putting the kids up to bed. But I'd be here talking to Arleeya, talk a little longer, and finally my wife's going to get upset at me if I don't get upstairs and get those kids to bed. You know, we like talking to each other. You know, we were his family. It does feel sad knowing that he was so excited about the game, so into the game, and so supportive of it. And, you know, he hardly got to see any of it. I do know he was out there, like when we were first able to fly free mode with each other. He was out there with Ansler, and they'd land on the same platform, trade ships, and if I recall right, Ansler tried to strafe Arleeya off with Arleeya's own ship. That's what I got reportedly anyways. So I know that when we discussed this, the Grievance crew under the forums has already decided that when we get in Star Citizen, our flagship is going to be the Arleeya Eliastra. We're going to get, in fact, Magic Rules on our forums already put that picture up. Some work he did, and I think pretty great there he did as far as that ship, kind of making it a tribute to him.
It's pretty sweet.
And that's the origin jump that he placed that over.
That's not the Pleasure Cruise Line one. That's the slave ship.
No, that's the, well, I guess depending on how you wanted to use it. Yeah, that's the Pleasure cruise ship. Let me go ahead and share a video with you here from one of our old shows where we found out he made a donation back when the old Wingman's Hangar days. And let me load that up here. I noticed something too in one of the Wingman's hangars here. I have another video. Apparently somebody we know sent a fan gift out there.
And also, man, fan gifts, you guys are incredible. There's no words. Just take a look at this.
I'm from the UK. We're just obviously busily finishing off the dogfighting module, and we got actually a wonderful surprise here, sent by Arleeya.
Wow. You sent them a whole picnic, it looks like.
Yeah, two hampers. They have a lot of people, and I didn't know if there would be enough food for them.
That looks awesome. You're too generous.
The other two offices got cookies as well.
All right, folks, I had to share that moment with you. He was reportedly always sending gifts out to the offices. In fact, we have also a Twitter post down here of when the cookies arrived. So there's, you know, Star Citizen at Robert Space Industry. We got cookies. Thank you so much, Arleeya Elestra, Daughter of Darkness, for your gift to the stars. Which, if you know Arleeya too, he always plays female characters in games. So his signature was like that too. Again, thanks for throwing out the comments for those of you in the live crew. Glad to have you here. Novatech brought up a good point there. Memo didn't have as much
Did
gray
he?
hair back then.
Did he bring up a good point? I bring up a good point. Nova has agreed to be on an episode, and we'll have our first Canadian co-cast,
Yeah,
and he can tell us whatever thing's a boot.
Yeah.
Do they allow Canadians in space?
I don't know. We were wondering.
So, welcome Nova to fill in the cast someday. I've also talked to Spin. We'll see him on more episodes, and I'm sounds like working on Demon Llama too, that he may be joining us for some shows.
Like to see him on some shows as well.
Yeah. So, the other thing I was going to show here, so just this past week, I also put out a post there for on the public boards, on the public Star Citizen forums. It went over 200 replies, 8 pages so far, and I talked about it. I mean, this such a generous person. I put it out there. I've got I should back up a bit, because aside from that, I also did put in a letter through their customer service department too. The first response I got was from the letter to them, and this was from Chelsea from Cloud Imperium Games. I am incredibly sorry to hear that. Arleeya was always a pleasure to help in concierge customer service, and I will remember him fondly. I have passed this along to David Haddock, who will find the perfect spot for him to live on in Star Citizen. Thank you for bringing this to my attention, as I am happy to help make this happen. It's definitely something that we've been wondering about. Arleeya is such a big supporter, such a great guy, that we could have him live on in the Star Citizen universe. When I did the post over on the forums, it was only like 2 pages down. Ben Lesnick replied too. And I'm going to show you his post as well as read it off here. I am so sorry to hear this. I can scarcely keep from crying at my desk. You know those fuzzy, happy memories you associate with the best of times, holidays and promotions and puppies the like? I have such incredibly fond memories of all those cookies arriving in Austin. It was the height of our spit and glue development days, and they just sort of became a symbol that made us all really happy. People cared about us so much, and we were dead set on proving ourselves. The cookies were just such a ubiquitous thing for our little team for a while there. The tins were everywhere, and we all learned to fight for the best parts whenever we opened them, with a delicious nougat hole hidden in the center being the sweetest prize. I wish I had known Arleeya better, and I wish he could have played the game he has helped make. He gave me memories I'll treasure forever. I hope my work brought him happiness during his life, and I will keep him in the front of my mind as I keep going. We will absolutely find a way to honor him permanently in the finished universe.
You know, if they could put him in as a statistics officer on some ship that reads you, takes a simple calculation and it goes on for 12 pages, that he would be very pleased with that. Actually, he would be pleased at all of this, I can tell you.
You know, there's characters that you find in games that you never forget, like in Mass Effect 2, the Solarian who sings. You guys remember that?
Remember that?
Yeah, I'd like for Arleeya to be some kind of main character, or some character, even just the single player storyline. If you run across him and he's a recurring theme, or if he's telling you what to do, whatever, something like that. It doesn't have to be his voice. It doesn't have to be his picture showing up on a monitor in a bar or something like that. It'd be cool just for everybody else to understand we liked him, so everybody else should like him too.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people from those forums that they didn't know Arleeya, they didn't know Grievance, they didn't know this show, but they were touched by what I wrote and by hearing about him. And I worry about the forum trolls tearing it up, but we got an overwhelmingly good response from the Star Citizen community. It was heartwarming.
And, forum trolls are one thing, and that's another reason why he loved Grievance and why we're here. In Grievance, and the people who are in Grievance that are watching this know this, we don't have to deal with stuff like that. Grievance is a safe place for us to say and do what we want, and I know that's one of the things he loved about it. So that's what I have. That's my stance on forum trolls. I'll just leave it at that and be nice.
I like Nova's idea. He'll be command of the NPC Armada.
Yeah.
That'd be a good way to open up like a new what you call it, expansion or new area opening up or to mark something awesome. Be the
Knowing him,
Arleeya.
he wouldn't want to be in command. He'd be the one back there crunching the numbers.
Yeah.
That could be. You search your way to the bottom of the ship and you'll find an engineer who's got consoles
Knows
taped
everything
together
about
like
everything.
a true miracle worker.
Sitting in his lazy boy.
4.5 life pods remaining.
No thanks. And I wanted to show it seems almost a bit off topic from Star Citizen. It was entirely along with Arleeya. When we had our real life get together here, Arleeya was one that tossed out choices of 3 restaurants for us to meet at, the guild to meet at, and we ended up meeting at
Burkes Grill.
Sorry, folks, the pictures did something here, so I had to fix it real quick. We met at Burkes Grill, and oh my gosh, we had an amazing experience. Those hamburgers you're looking at there, we sat down, and somebody's like, look,
that's a baby bottle.
I know, they were like, look at, yeah, well, I had to fix the picture, sorry. There was a baby at the table.
Sorry.
But these double D cheeseburgers, they're like double D cheeseburgers, and all of a sudden, what was it? Deuce noticed it, and then the rest of us had to order one, and these things arrived, and they were like, it was a pound of hamburger, but it was really 2 or 3 smaller hamburgers in more of a lengthwise Subway kind of bun. And I felt you had to have an achievement if you actually finished it.
And it was your idea to add bacon, and everybody followed suit.
Well, I took out the cheese, but yes,
Yeah,
everyone
you
followed
took out
me
the
to
cheese.
put bacon.
And on the other side of the table, we all had hot fingers. We had buffalo chicken tenders.
Yes, buffalo chicken fingers, which are pretty decent, but they're not buffalo.
Yes, says the guy from Buffalo. Yeah,
That's right.
that's right.
I had to give a shout out to, if anyone ever finds themselves out a little west of Atlanta and a little south of Douglasville, Burkes Grill, good food. See if you can finish the double D cheeseburger with bacon on it.
And Arleeya will pay for it.
We should move on to the next story. But if you guys want to still get in anything else,
Let's move on. We'll show the video at the end, and that'll be good.
yep. We're going to talk to you guys about some of the latest news here. We move on from this is 2 things with Vanduul ships. The first is that we finally have pictures of a Vanduul Bomber. And that thing does look intimidating. The Void. And they did say, we kind of looked over it. It was like, boy, armament includes some electron cannons, some torpedo clusters. As if one torpedo wasn't bad enough, torpedo clusters. And like 7 turrets. Oh. And they made a mention on...
Yeah, that's wicked.
They made a mention on, around the verse number 49, an ability to carry boarding ships.
That looks
So-
It
awesome.
doesn't really look like a bomber. I mean, looks like a bunch of scythes taped together.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Very spiky. Demon's right.
Yeah, but yeah, that ship doesn't look like one you'd want to ram either. That one looks like it hurts you just as much as the Scythe. So they
looks pretty
released
badass.
that, so we know that, you know, I wish I knew better the size of that thing if I had another ship together.
Yeah, there's no comparison model. They need to put it up against something we know what the size of is.
Yeah.
But I'm with Nova. I really like the design. I like all the Vanduul designs pretty much. They're very sharp.
Yeah. But we do know that, yeah, and it's like, it's going to carry some ships, so I imagine it'd probably be pretty impressive looking if I try attacking with my Hornet. Now, I'm going to need somebody, I'm going to have to be escorting somebody in a Retaliator or a Gladiator, hit that thing.
I wonder if they're gonna like separate ships like that, or if you remember the torpedoes that they put guys inside of the Navy SEALs, they put in the submarines and launch them out that way. So that way it launches off and it hits the ship and barrels in, and then like in Halo it opens up and all the guys come out.
Gosh.
Wasn't there something like that in SWTOR too?
Yeah.
Where you went through one of the dungeons and the torpedoes had NPCs in them when they hit the ship. I think that was SWTOR, wasn't it?
They could
That'd be
probably
cool.
One of the Star Treks.
they could probably do that with droids if they wanted. I mean, we already saw something similar at the start of one of those movies. Droid bomb.
Mm.
We've also got news on the Scythe. That is finally going to be the next major patch. The Vandal Side will be flyable.
That'd be nice.
That's the 1.2.0. That's I watched the video for how to make the UI, and that looks freaking awesome. I can't wait to get one of those. Did you guys didn't watch it?
I haven't seen it yet.
All right. So
I
it's
did, yeah.
it's red, and it's all like blades sticking in like towards the center of the screen, and that's where you're supposed to be aiming the whole time. And it has all the reticles. But that's the alien one. When you boot up the computer for the first time, it'll flash up on the screen, and then it'll go to the human one where it'll go off to the side and be much more squares or whatever. But as your ship and your computer take damage, it's going to glitch out and go back to the original one. Yeah,
Well,
like
that's
that
pretty
one.
cool. I
think
kind of
that's
like
an
that
awesome idea.
one. Yeah.
Like it'll glitch out and then it'll like reboot and so back to the human version. I think that's a great idea. I'd like to see that. I mean, it'll suck if it happens to me, but
I know it's fun. They kind of mentioned where you had the notes where they kind of tried to give it a little bit of an organic feel to the look of it.
definitely. It's like hard clean but organic at the same time.
Yeah.
So
And-
how do we repair an organic ship? I mean, as
Yeah,
No, just
you know.
the look of the HUD was supposed to seem organic. I don't know,
Organic,
it's like spiky
okay.
Organic.
there's a
Toothy
Scythe in the
organic.
hangar. That's pretty cool.
they're not
of
even
course.
done with the modeling yet, though. Working on the interior.
Yeah, they kind of show the guy climbing into it here, but it sounded like that was still needing a little more work to have it actually functional in the hangar.
But that is the human version. That's what people will get who already ordered it. And that they're not thinking about releasing any more of them.
That's a bummer.
Yeah. They did kind of say too that they didn't really specifically. They said the artwork design also took into account as most likely a company such as Anvil retrofitting it for human use. They did, of course, that they liked that red look for it to be kind of visually distinct. They shifted elements of the HUD toward the center of the view on this one as compared to, I'd say, most other ships in the verse.
It looks pretty cool. I can't wait to get my hands on one eventually.
They also say that, however, whatever happened to it, it got reworked so, as you imagine, a more human setup for the controls inside and such. So you have to think that they have a vision of how the Vanduul had things set up and got changed over for how humans set it up, that usable for us.
The hardest thing that's going to be for us members who can get it is upgrading it and modding it out, because you can change out the weapons. If you have an Aurora, you just order them off a magazine and it's Amazon over to you or UPS. But this you're going to have to go some
Nice.
real digging and searching. So, hopefully they'll make it worth it, not like an extra like 3 armor points or something stupid, or a Gatling cannon that shoots a couple rounds faster.
Yep. And yeah, it did sound like too, of course, one issue is over time, yeah, the Vanduul may suddenly have a Scythe Mark II or something, but, you know, in UEE space, you're kind of stuck with whatever was grabbed or whatever was salvaged from them. And they said, although it could definitely be possible to take over one yourself, it needs a lot of being able to disable it and pull out
Yeah.
and kill the pilot yourself and pilot it
So-
somewhere.
Says it's going to be very difficult, so
And
probably
have
out of
a
my
ship that can
reach
pick
as
it up.
far as taking one out with another fighter. She got to basically take it down from the engines down and immobilize the pilot or kill him, and then have a place to take it to get repaired.
Yeah. Cyberwolf. I don't know if you missed it. Arleeya's no longer with us. He missed the sale on the Starliners. We are going to talk about that later in the show, the Starliners. But it's kind of how he got the window set up. We just lost Arleeya at the end of May, start of June.
May 31st.
So,
Anyways.
Anyways.
Quick note, moving on. Just looking at time-wise here. So the Scythe, hey, that's great if we can fly it. You still got to find a friend who has a Vanduul Scythe. Go in the free flight mode, land, and then you can try flying one and taking off with it.
I wonder how many of those we can fit inside of the reclaimer without crushing them.
You know, I'm always thinking that every time I see anything. How many squashed up of those can I fit in reclaimer?
I've got to say, too, the Scythe also has some damage states that they were showing off in one of the pictures, too, on that update. Oh, yeah, I did forget. We've got a few question and answers that were offered, so I better go through those quick. UEE security will not just shoot down every Scythe they see, because, of course, human-captured ones will have a signal to let the AI know that you're not a Vanduul. It does say this does not protect against trigger-happy player characters, though.
Vanduul Scythe, we can get one. Come on.
So can you take one from another player? I mean, is that going to be an option?
Suppose, yep, that could be an option, too.
There's nothing saying that you cannot.
Oh, they did a warning for those who do fly that thing. The blade wing is currently non-functional.
Yeah, that's a bummer. What's the point if you got a blade wing and you can't use it?
Important safety message there. Cyberwolf, yeah, sorry. If you want to catch two, we announced it before. We do have an Arleeya tribute video coming up at the very end of the show. Stick around for that. All right. We have been told that at least one Vanduul ship, nicknamed the Blade, is going to be a lighter version than the Scythe. And likewise, just having a Scythe, you can't just simply fly through Vanduul space. They're going to again know with your transponder and that you're an enemy, so you're still going to be in trouble over there.
So that Blade they're putting out, is that going to be a ship they're going to put up for sale, or is that just going to be in-game? Or is that going to be something they're going to have? The
They did not
Vanduul.
mention it at all.
They did not? That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Option
Seems
is there.
rather- you know, that one has certainly the backstory where I can understand it would be limited. I would still have to imagine there's got to be some available in the game, but who knows? Maybe it could be a complex or pricey means to go about acquiring one. One
Like a
of the captured
quest?
ones. Yes. No one in Star City wants to mention the quest word, but we still want some kind of quest. You don't have to call it a quest. All right. Letter from the chairman. Chris Roberts he talked about, filming for the Squadron 42 storyline. They spent more hours filming on it. They did for his movies. Wing Commander 4, they spent 42 days filming. He talked about their initial plan to release Star Marine in April. A lot of setbacks, but it sounds like they're developing a whole backbone of the whole gaming system that everything's going to branch off of that is going to make this all fit much nicer together. Generic instance manager, also rewriting the matchmaker and the game launcher from scratch. They're gonna internally test the generic instance manager next week. The matchmakers do a better job at getting people into games faster and keeping them together. And they've created several new tools themselves which promise to make gameplay faster.
They had the one bug in Crytek where they couldn't have more than 8 people in the shooter. So that in the FPS part of it, so they've since fixed it. When more than 8 people would log in, their loadouts would mess up and they'd bug out and rubber band and everything. So that was the default setting. Yeah.
So, he basically still did say, they don't have a timeline for Star Marine's rollout. But at least it sounds like they're going to open up a little more communication about, how things are progressing. And I had to show some footage from around the verse 49 where they're showing some of this behind the scenes stuff. I noticed a little glimpse there of Sandy lying.
Very
Looks
cool.
like she's dying on the ground. So we'll see. It looks like, you know, we'll have Sandy in game. At least that's the rumor I'm starting.
Wishful thinking, Thaman.
You figure they got to make some appearances somewhere. Maybe there will be a Dread Pirate Roberts.
Inconceivable.
Alright.
I really like the graphics that they did for the facial recognition. It looks more and more, every generation looks more realistic. It's pretty awesome.
Hey, welcome Mufasa75. That's Matt Fossa. He was also nice enough on short notice. I can't believe it. I said, hey, can you come up with some background music for Arleeya's tribute video and have it due in about a week?
he's amazing.
And he has something. He has the music in the video. You're seeing that in the end there. So
The first get together Thaman was at, we got to meet Mufasa.
I know, a lot of talk of grievance get-togethers here. All right. And as I said, the shout-out, I think we still want to move on and talk about this Genesis Starliner and the whole passenger transport design. Make sure we have enough time to talk about that, because I thought there was a lot of interesting news right there. Were you all? How much of you all were able to catch it outside of my notes?
I've been busy all day, so I haven't seen anything about it.
Not
The
much.
last
I
I
went
heard was
through
the
your
price.
notes.
I saw the price
Yeah.
when I was at Cornea.
Yeah, I saw the price and I got the email and I was like, well, that's a big pass from me, because I'm kind of topped out on ships. I'm not gonna say how much I've spent, but I'm a good piece over concierge level at this point. So Memo needs to, it's got to be something really special for me to buy anything from this point on. like a Vandal Scythe would do it, but that's not gonna happen. So
Keep pushing it. Maybe you'll get it. You'll get it one day.
I know.
I've got
I
to
want
bring up
one.
from the live show, Cyberwolf's already noting that the face animations are already months old. They've upgraded them. Wow. So yeah, here I'm showing everybody the Genesis Starliner made from Crusader Industries. I remember that came up too. We had a new name, a new company name attached with this one. And it does say, okay, with the Starliner we're introducing something new, a ship that doesn't have a naturally apparent style of gameplay. And I thought it interesting, if you go to the web page where they've introduced it, the page itself kind of goes through a story. It goes through postcards that link to locations across the Galactic Guide. And I played with this. You click a postcard, and as you navigate down the page, you get a voice talking to you, and it reacts to whichever choice you had.
Yeah, I went through this. It was really a neat way to put a new ship out there, but $400. But it was a really neat way to introduce a ship. It's definitely, they haven't done that before.
What is it
And I liked
with
it.
you Killjoy? A little price tag put you off.
Yeah, I didn't like I haven't spent more than that, but like I said, I'm up above concierge level now, and I'm a little
That's
bit more
10
picky
cans of
now.
formula that I can get for my kid. No, I'm not buying that shit.
Yeah, for some reason, since I gave one ship away a little while back to Spin to throw out in one of his charities where he was giving away his hangar and that, I've kind of told myself I am going to buy another ship. I just haven't figured out which one yet.
Yeah, I'll always buy another one. It's just it has to be the right one, like you said. And same thing as Cyberwolf is saying. He appreciates the Starliner and that CIG made it, but not interested in owning one. I'm the same way. I mean, it's the thing about the game is the way it appeals to so many different people, and that's a cool thing about this game. There's a play style. Looks like there's going to be a play style for everyone.
Yep. And the other thing I was liking too about this is they do have quite a bit of interesting play associated with it. Again, I like how they mentioned this. We saw something similar with the Orion. It made mining sound really exciting, really great team effort. This one sounds like a team effort too. The concept model that they show is designed for 40 passengers. We know that there are variants that includes either less passengers and more luxury, or the other way, that might go turning it more into a cargo vessel. They've even said professional racing teams may use one and store small racers on board.
So it's fairly big size if they're going to store multiple of the racing vehicles on it.
Mm-hmm. Crew of 8, shield size 7. Now, I haven't paid attention to all the shield sizes on all the ships on the webpage, but that's the biggest number I've seen so far that I remember seeing on anything. A pair of remote turrets and, of course, multiple decks. I did see they had a very funny safety brochure attached to the thing, too. No stim smoking, weapons must be checked, no hacking flight systems. Take away all the fun.
All right.
It's got a, you can change it to be a medic thing, too. Medical Diagnosis and Treatment Center.
That would be nice too. I wonder if you could rig one out for that.
It reminds me a lot. Go ahead.
No, I was thinking because with the multiple decks too, who knows if you could fly a small ship into it during flight too.
The ship itself reminds me of the ship that's used in the new Splinter Cell game. I forget the name of it, but there's a bunch of different decks and there's a bunch of different modules that you're able to put in. Well, that are in there anyways. There's like a medical part, there's a central intelligence part, and of course pilot, stuff like that. I'd like to see if that's what they're going with.
Okay. Thought it was interesting too, the design aspect from it. Like you see, it did seem like interesting mini game with it. Okay, so you can obtain a license with a recurring fee, and it's based on the starports that you're, I guess, buying the fees to land in. It sounds like if the very fuel-efficient bulk ships that have already been heavily modified are handling the major space airways. So I suppose if you're just starting out, you might be handling the smaller, less traveled ports. It sounds like you go to a space dock, you've got a flight schedule computer that helps you out with, you know, what are the popular destinations from here, the amount of travelers going out there, the ticket prices they paid, and then you can set a destination, departure time, you can set ticket prices, and you can change them up or cancel them up until you launch, and customers will start heading your way. It does say you can't change the departure time without canceling the whole flight.
Few bad memories there.
Like that, Matt says uniforms look almost next generation Star Trek-ish.
Yeah, that was my first thought too.
And looks like too that they have some interesting mini games as far as trying to keep people happy on the flight. Because customers judge you by reputation and satisfaction. Reputation being the overall, you know, succeeds or suffers depending on how safely you move the passengers, and their satisfaction. Satisfaction seems to be, you know, per flight. You fulfill it by mini games such as serving drinks, playing movies, optimizing your data and signal transmissions. They could throw that at you. Offering medical care. It was kind of
nobody buys Wi-Fi though.
Yeah, yeah, nobody ever buys Wi-Fi on the domestics, right? Yeah, but that to me just seems like not a fun game to play. I'm sorry. Serving drinks, minimizing your data, or, you know, maximizing your data array, or that just doesn't seem like fun to me. I want to take my reclaimer out, mash up a couple constellations, and take them back and sell the pieces. That sounds like a good day's work.
I thought it's interesting too that you're doing all these mini games in the back, trying to keep the customers, the passengers healthy and happy, and hopefully somebody's flying the ship too. You know, that's where you need your friends, I guess.
You'd need a crew for that, yeah.
Hopefully, Mufasa, he says in chat, if they could do a mail carrier. Hopefully, at this point, mail will no longer be something that needs a ship to haul it. I would guess it'd be mostly digital at this point.
That's right,
No,
Carol.
not many postcards, letters, junk mail being sent. But yeah,
I like Demon Llama's opinion too. Someone out there is going to
Yeah.
lose years of game time to the Starliner and enjoy every minute of it.
exactly. Someone is. There's going to be people out there that this really appeals to them.
Okay, that totally
Very
makes
good
sense.
point, Mufasa. Physical packages. Good point.
What's the other one? The red and yellow one? DHS?
Right, yellow
Something like that?
is it DPS?
Yeah, something like that.
Yes.
DPs? No, it's not DPs. No, bad.
Whoop had to take it there.
No thanks. I wonder, like, how many people are actually going to use this? Like, if you set it up as a service for your ship, like, it'd be cool to like make one round trip thing with your guildmates or your friends or something. But then, like,
Well,
they
maybe
leave all their
there's
ships
no
behind.
jobs for it.
Oh.
Maybe there's jobs for it in the game where one of your job boards you pick up and you book passengers and take them from here to there. It could
But
be. I
People
know.
have to want to do it. Like, you can get in your own ship and go there faster.
Well, yeah, but I mean, what if they're not real people? What if they're NPCs? What if it's a job just like going out and mining asteroids for 7 or 8 hours? Which there's going to be people that really appeals to them as well.
Yeah.
On the mining ship, I mean, Deuce, I don't know if he's still in chat, but he picked up one of the mining ships, and he's looking forward to
reminded him of that every
going out there and farming and farming and farming. So it kind of be like the same thing.
All right, folks. Again, a reminder, we do have, it's getting near the end, so we're going to have our Leah tribute video coming up here real quick.
Yep.
It does say, I'll finish by saying, it does say a single experienced player can likely handle a ship with 20 to 30 seats by themselves. Beyond that, they're going to need friends, help coordinate jobs, or hire NPCs and pay them a monthly wage. So, you okay, Whoop?
Sorry, I had to sneeze.
I think he's going to live.
Story of my life.
Did you get a new headset, Thurman?
Yeah, well, a little
You
while
did
ago.
too, Whoop. You got a new one?
This one's been like before
There was
Christmas.
apparently too much in the old microphone. This one's a lot
Yeah.
better.
Yeah, less of that.
That's Vader.
Okay.
Yeah, less Vader. You used to do the Vader thing where we could hear you breathing. We can't hear that anymore.
All right. Okay, folks. Reminder again. Every other Saturday, you'll see us 6 p.m. Central Standard Time broadcasting here. Normally, we're followed by Eggy's Don't Sleep, Won't Sleep, but I'm told she will not have an episode of that tonight.
Oh. Okay.
So, guess that means channel's open if anyone wants, but all right. So, we're going to be leaving you here. I'm going to put on Arleeya's tribute video. Like I said, we will not be coming back live after the video. It's also up there on YouTube for you. Again, thanks for joining us. We're all really going to miss Arleeya as we move forward in the Star Citizen. And I'll say my goodbye. You guys get your goodbyes in because I'm going to be switching over to that video here.
Alright, I'll be watching the video with everybody that stays for it. And remember, folks, when you're faced with something in life and you have to make a decision, just think, why not? As Arleeya would have done.
All
I
right.
think that was a
Why
decision
not?
for him. That was like an everyday occurrence.
Yes.
Why not?
Live life to your fullest, guys. Enjoy it.
Yeah.
I have to add this to Cyberwolf asking, have they added the septic tank ship yet? And Demon Llama's quick to say, don't give them ideas. Oh, modified Starfare. Okay. Time to finally say goodbye and move to Arleeya's video before this gets any worse. Thank you all for watching. And right under me here, the man whose armada could destroy all 3 of your other hosts combined, Arleeya. Go, can we hear?
41 ships?
Yes,
41.
41. Yeah. and I'm believing that a few of them are going to be outside because there's not going to be any room.
I'll get the nice brochure from MISC, whatever that stands for.
Musashi.
I'm looking to Arleeya because I know who knows what that stands for.
Musashi Space Flight Concern.
There you go. See, I don't have to remember what it stands for. I've got Arleeya right here.
Or, you know, I can always know Arleeya's going to get them, so I can always fly them. So there's that.
I always get 2, in case one
Two.
breaks.
Just leave this in your hangar because it looks better than the furniture you're going to be able to put in. Star Citizen is working together with your wing people, with the crews, going out there and doing stuff.
Well, this interest that we have now, that I have, is for the grievance.
Right.
Just
Yeah.
bring it back the way you found it.
Right.
They did say player characters can save players in a med bay, perhaps, you know, saving a life of that player.
Got 5,000 on you? Oh, you're gonna lose that arm.
Well, what
if
I
you
did
want
was
something, you can always borrow it from the Grievance fleet. Arleeya has everything. I mean,
Somebody we know sent a fan gift out there.
From the UK, we're just obviously busily finishing off the dogfight module, and we got actually a wonderful surprise here, sent by Leah.
You sent them a whole picnic, it looks like.
yeah, two Pampers. They have a lot of people, and I didn't know if there would be enough food for them.
You're too generous.
The other 2 offices got cookies as well.
Arleeya's got his too. Oh man, it's still in the package, you gotta open it up.
Never been open, dude.
One thing I learned about flight simulators and you're doing PvP, if your wingman is shooting, don't cross in front of him.
Yeah.
It's hard enough core that you could damage the engines enough so it doesn't move. Damage the weapons so they can't fire. And then this guy's staring at you going, what are you going to do next? And you go, ping, ping, 98, 99, hi. Leave him there.
nice.
Star Citizen, Chris Roberts, that team is doing something that's pushing the envelope. And we as players need to go out there. We need to explore and do things. And this game is going to offer that. Memo, didn't you say you were going to ram into them? Where was the ramming in part?
I don't have a Vanduul Scythe. When I have one of those, it's built for ramming. Believe me. When I
the UE code. I think it has a reference to the old Starfire. Not Starfly. It was a TV show with Nathan Fowler.
Firefly.
Firefly.
How can you forget Firefly?
Star Citizen is hard. It's meant to be a game where you just don't push a button and you win. It requires skill. It requires you to know what you're doing. It's immersive.
Well, when that Idris goes out the door, it's not going without a full crew.
Most of the games I've always considered the character that I create, an avatar, an extension of myself. Though I play girl characters all the time, I like watching them run around. So, I'm a guy, I can't help it. Wasn't there a janitor in there or no?
Sanitation worker.
That's probably to clean up all the mess that we make after we blow up all these ships and everything. In Star Citizen, you better damn well care about your character because that's an extension of yourself. It's your skills that are manipulating yourself around that world, not just pushing a button and you fire a fireball out. Once long ago, we had a space program, and we had people behind it that worked to go to the moon because it was hard, not because it was easy. And we lost people doing it, real people. This game, there's people that play these games that we lose every day and that we know in every community around the planet has ever played. And we remember those people. The games like this are for them because they had the initiative to say, I want to play this game because it's interesting to me. I think you should take a look at it and see what you think.
I want to thank you for having me.
Thanks,
Best to
all.
everybody. Take care.
Be safe. Take care.
And remember, we'll see you in the verse.